Welcome into Season 23, Week 2, I think, Round 1. We got G-Legit. As you can see, I dropped 2 attacks, although I'm pretty upset with myself because there should have been 1 attack, and I screwed up a cleanup for the dumbest possible reason. So I suspect that's going to cost me the win, because I also wasn't super duper efficient. I was okay, I guess, but anyway, frustrated with that. You'll see what happened. There's definitely some interesting things on defense, and we learned a bunch. So I guess I gotta untilt myself by going over these attacks. So room 1, just full new mutants. Room 2, this one is, this is pretty spicy, and I have yet to see a reliable one-shot. You'll see what I tried, which can work, and I think I know what to do next time, but this is where I dropped one of the attacks, actually both. Anyway, you'll see in a sec. But anyway, this is definitely a really spicy defense and a good defense. Then Annihilus with Exalted X-Men, just full Starjammers, Phoenix Force with Damon and Doctor Strange Heartless. This is a very interesting one as well. And then Blue Marvel, Mephisto, Illuminati, Emma. So yeah, pretty turtled up. Daring Warriors is on offense as is accursed, but with Professor X and Damon on defense, I'm curious to see how G-Legit's going to do. Hopefully drops at least 2 and is less efficient. But yeah, let's get into the details. Alright, so as you can probably guess, this is what I did to New Mutants, so I'm just going to move on. There's literally nothing else to say. Here's where things get screwed up, so I'm going to hide the mess up for now, but yeah, it's full symbiotes and also large symbiotes, and I did Fantastic Four with Reed and Breaker, so I guess because I have to, you'll see it right now anyway. The spoiler is I didn't bring Emma X into the cleanup. I brought in the wrong team and barely didn't clear. I also think I misplayed it in my panic, so this should not have happened. Basically, I'm gonna be really upset with myself if this ends up being the loss. But anyway, let's talk through the logic here. So Fantastic Four are obviously stopping speed stat. Professor X is stopping speed bar, and he's helping me get past the riot taunt. And then Breaker is here because Breaker's great. He will help me rebalance. He goes ahead of Professor X. He does great things. The problem fundamentally with this fight, though, and I think there's a slow play version of this that I need to try next time. Actually, I can probably try this in War. Actually, no. The other problem is that you can't really test this well in War because Breaker does so many extra things in War, including keeping your team alive, that it gives you a lot of false confidence. So testing with Breaker is always wonky. But yeah, the theory here was stop speed stat, stop speed bar, take a few hits, kill Professor X, and then hopefully clean up. I debated Reed over Human Torch. Reed technically survives longer, but he's not giving the team barrier because it's prevented by Quicksilver. So, and he's very slow. But my Human Torch is also like G20, and he's an alt stat character, so he can't really take a beating. But maybe he would have been a better choice here. But with a bunch of coin flips, he may not have even taken a turn either. So I figured he might be okay because if he gets to special, then he can kind of also help me rebalance. So Quicksilver goes first. Oh, and Professor X is also stopping the darkness and the assists, because this initial attack, if you also have an assist from Null coming through, and you also have the mind control from the darkness, like your team just kills itself basically. So, and also the ISOs here that I had were kind of interesting. So let's see. So Fortifier on Reed, wrong way. Invisible Woman is a raider on purpose. Breaker is a striker also on purpose, so the reason why she's a raider and he's a striker is so that he has more damage than her. I mean, that's one of the reasons, so that he eats the Franklin mind control, because she can sometimes just die straight up, but he can take a beating. And then Franklin was a skirmisher just to put 2 vulnerables on Professor X, so that when Breaker goes, he can just guarantee kill him. And then Professor X is kind of always a striker as far as I'm concerned. So let's see. So I get to do this, which is always good. And yeah, my Professor X has the 2 vulnerables. Then Breaker goes, basically kills Professor X there. So here's the problem with the rest of this fight, because, you know, you'd think this starts out great, which it does. A lot of the problem with the symbiotes is Riot's cleanse that happens below 50%, and it's really hard to control when are you pushing them to make sure that they keep all their stuff. Breaker's passive is also a wrinkle because you can't, you know, if you hit that, there's going to be more damage, so you might push someone at a bad time. Here, I debated if I should do the special for an ability block or the ultimate to just clump them together for Professor X. I went with the ultimate. I think in the future, you might want to special here anyway to kind of limit the amount of damage that is coming through. But that could also push people, so I don't know. So you'll see here, you know, this Venom instantly gets pushed, but everyone else is still pretty healthy, so I could have just specialed on Riot, and then this would have been, you know, just damage on Invisible Woman, but she also just dies here to the Striker hit, so she evaporated. So I think even if he was ability blocked, she was going to die, but it would have just been less damage on my team just overall. Now, here's the other thing that I think I needed to play differently. Here, I do the Professor X special, which is great, which, you know, under normal circumstances, applies ability block onto Null, but he also got pushed, so it all immediately dropped off. So I think what I wanted to do here is, because they're clumped at least, or in the future just play with adjacents, I needed to Professor X on Riot to keep the ability block on this guy here, and then on his turn he would do a basic, which would still kind of hurt because I'm pretty clumped here, but it's not the ultimate. So now Null does this, and that hurts quite a bit. You know, see, I just lost Reed, he didn't take a single turn. Cyclops goes here. At this point, I've kind of like realized, hopefully I can get to Professor X ultimate. But, you know, Venom, he's blinded luckily, so that's fine. Quicksilver is also blinded here and ability blocked, so that's fine. But, ouchies. Many, many ouchies. So at this point, I've lost basically. I mean, clearly you can see it's the last turn, so Null is going to special, and, you know, that's it. So, yeah, I think this comp can work if you slow play it and try to just control the damage coming in. So, like, you know, an ability block on Null or Riot, just to make sure that you can keep Professor X alive to get to his ultimate. Because here I think he got too much splash damage, and people got pushed at weird times, which unfortunately you can't always control. But if I see this again, this is probably what I'm going to try, unless I can think of a better way of doing this. But yeah, unfortunately, this only killed Professor X, and let's just go straight into my silliness, which I'm still very, very upset about. Because, yeah, like, this should have been a slam dunk. Like, see, they're all really low health. Actually, this might not be true, but anyway, they were all generally low health, and I'm just like, sure, I'll bring Oath in, and that's because I used to have Oath and Emma. Like, Shadow King was where I messed up, because I didn't have him before, and I was like, oh, Shadow King, he'll get pings with the ultimates, but then I realized, as I was loading in, I was like, oh no, I didn't bring the speed stat, and I figured maybe I'm still okay, because, you know, I burned a bunch of abilities, but I get hit with some bad RNG and a bit of a misplay here. So, Null does a basic. I don't understand actually how he took this much damage. Like, what is going on here? That was weird because he took damage and then he took a bunch more. So yeah, I don't know how he got chunked so hard. But actually, does he have? I don't know if Shadow King has a panic tag or whatever. But you know, he's at least 29 million. Anyway, yeah, he got obliterated somehow. And, I mean, you can see the turn order here. Quicksilver, unfortunately, his special is still up, so he ends up rewinding and killing Shadow King here. So these two get rewinded, and you're about to see where this is really bad. Riot goes on to Odin Basic. Not the end of the world, but, you know, still a lot of damage on him. Luckily, Venom went over here. I could have lost Odin immediately. And then it's finally my turn. So here's my problem, and I'm an idiot. Because clearly I got an assist right now, but because I was kind of panicking, I didn't notice it and I forgot, and I was like, oh shit, should I basic or special? I 100% needed to special here. Just heal everyone up, it's fine. But I was kind of panicking and I didn't register the assist from the darkness, so I was just like, you know what? I think I'm not worried about it because Darkstar will go. She'll ultimate. She'll heal. But you'll see that why that was also a mistake. So like I completely screwed up this cleanup beyond belief because this was the last room I did, and I was trying to leave. And again, I don't know why I insist on doing a lot of these attacks when I'm pressed for time, but that's ultimately my fault. So anyway, this should have been an Odin special to rebalance, but I figured, you know what, let's just get this going. And then because this coin flip was lost, which was bad luck on my part, Oath killed Darkstar. If Darkstar had gone first, it would be fine, but she didn't. So, you know, pulled in the wrong team, also used the wrong Odin ability, also got unlucky with the coin flip here. Actually, no, that was not a coin flip because Quicksilver Special rewinded Darkstar and Quasar. That's also why Quasar did not go ahead of Odin, and that's what bamboozled me, where I was like, oh no, Quasar didn't go first, and he was there for the assist. So, you know, again, just a lot of things that were going wrong in my head when I was doing this attack. So anyway, do the Quasar Special here, because why not? Just get some more damage out there. Null Basic, unfortunately, onto her, and which blasted her. So yeah, good news is, you know, this seems doable so far, but they're all too alive and too healthy, and the assist combo, the striker assist skirmisher combo is really hurting me. So like Quasar from like 40% health just died there. So, you know, this is a Venom, that was a Venom special, by the way, almost one-shot a 5 diamond Odin, like took him down to 20%. But yeah, I mean, you already know how this is gonna go. But see, I just get, I got unlucky here as well. Where like this swipe, if it had just killed one of these two, actually, let's see. I think Quicksilver kills me here with the assist, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, very close to one-shotting it, even though I fumbled it completely. But anyway, again, doesn't matter how well you plan, you can still screw up your attacks, make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, so you know this will haunt me if I lose, or well, if this specifically costs me the win, because you know I might get severely outplayed. Who knows? But yeah, if this ends up like, you know, my opponent drops 2 and then I lose to efficiency, I'm just gonna be kicking myself. But you know, I have to remind myself at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's just I get very competitive, and I don't like losing because I make mistakes like this. I'd like to lose because I, you know, misunderstood or fell into a trap that someone set. This was no trap. This is just me screwing up the team and then misplaying it because I panicked. So anyway, let's just move on. Not gonna bother with the cleanup at that point. Like it was literally one turn. Songbird just killed them all. So the more I look at this, the more upset I get. But anyway, yes. So this can work, but probably have to play it somewhat differently. So just, you know, you have to not blast basically. Or I was debating. I think if you can afford it, but you know, this pretty crazy defense, Sentry here would have been great, because if you can. Because at that point, if you blast and get them to proc, then Sentry will take all that stuff away. So, you know, if you can afford to bring Professor X and Sentry and Breaker and Fantastic Four in here, you know, cool. But that's also a lot of tools that I suspect most of the time you won't have available. So anyway, moving on. So this one, I wasn't sure if this would work just because I've never done it, but as you can see, it does. It is Symbiotes with Annihilus versus Exalted X-Men with Annihilus, and this is the assist room, but it's kind of irrelevant for them at least, because they're not stopping assists other than Annihilus stopping passive assist by 100%, but Null has over 100% assist chance. I think he ends up at 55%, so you'll see he will occasionally assist. So yeah, we get Morph going first. Intentionally going into Annihilus because he's just going to heal it back up. Don't really care. And yeah, this makes my Annihilus go first. Going into him. But yeah, now we're off the taunt because of the assist. Oh no, because Annihilus decayed everything, I think. So anyway, but yeah, you can see here, this guy took insane damage already. This is from my Annihilus special and my Annihilus passive proc, and I think it's because of the darkness. I've already reported this as a bug, but this should not be happening. So this guy's taking a little bit more damage than he should be. But I think basically I also got lucky. Like I think both of these probably crit for this to happen. Anyway, he does his thing, so I get hit a bunch as well. Now Storm gets to go. So here it's interesting because they got speed bar because my little minion died. So that's why you see Jubilee and Angel going ahead of the rest of my team now, because one of these little guys here died. So Jubilee gave these guys 25% speed bar. But that's also fine because the more turns they take, the faster my Annihilus is going to get to his ultimate, which in an Ultimus v Ultimus, not Ultimus, jeez. Annihilus versus Annihilus fight. Getting to your ultimate first is highly recommended. But anyway, yeah, Jubilee and Angel taking turns, not really that much of a problem. If this little guy had also died, maybe things get weird, but I think, you know, they're still just feeding my Annihilus with speed bar, and once he gets his ultimate, this just ends. But anyway, now I finally get to take some turns. Priority number 1 is always kill Annihilus Rod. You see here, yeah, see, I get an assist. Because this room stops, oh, you can't see it. This room stops assist now. Or sorry, this room gives assist now to everyone. But I lost my train of thought. But yes, anyway, the reason why Null gets assist here is because he has passive assist chance. So you see he has the assist now, which is getting negated by the 100%. You know what, I'm just rambling at this point. Let me just show you what I'm talking about, because it makes more sense this way. So when Rod is up, nope, where is it? It's hiding. So yeah, sorry. So Annihilus reduces passive assist chance for all enemies by 100%. Assist now is basically 100% assist chance. So when you see someone that reduces passive assist chance, it actually captures both categories of passive assist chance and assist now. If something says only prevents assist now, then you still get passive assist chance. But anyway, if that wasn't confusing, because where is it? Because Null gets 50% assist chance, then he gets 15% chance for all villains, and then on top of that, he gets 50% chance for all symbiotes, and the symbiotes are also villains. I think he ends up with 155% assist chance, which is why you see him kind of ignoring Annihilus and the room in this case. But then anyway, we do the Riot special here. I didn't do the ultimate because I don't think it would have changed, but also the special does more damage, and again, I'm just trying to get the Rod off here. Then just Null special down the middle. But I mean, there's 4 more turns, but this fight is basically over because as long as I have Rod and he doesn't, this is just GG. And the insectoid devourer goes, whatever. That just gives me speed bar. It's fine. He dies now. Oh, and sorry, because the Rod dropped from him, I am actually getting assists from all my raiders, and I think I have 3 raiders here. That's why Annihilus pinged into him again. And actually, you'll see it here. So do the special. Got an assist from Quicksilver, assist from Null, who's going to do it anyway, assist from Annihilus. So that's again kind of the weirdness with having Exalted here in this room, is that their initial barrage, if you don't turn off assists, is pretty nasty because they go really early. But if you don't have Wolverine here, or, I mean, Annihilus is here, I guess. But anyway, if you don't somehow stop assists, then it's very easy to kill Exalted X-Men after they go. But anyway, got to Annihilus Ultimate. It's done. GG. So glad to know that this still works. So I think basically at this point, I can one-shot any Annihilus comp, including the Mirror. So I'm going to continue to have Annihilus on offense because I don't like sack/efficiency meta. I just don't find that fun. I'd rather come up with creative solutions, and right now the one room that, you know, is kind of warping the meta around it is whatever room you have Annihilus in. So if I could just take that out of the equation, you know, that's cool. But that does mean that when I make mistakes like the one I did in room 2, it's way more costly because the onus is on me to play well. because there's no Annihilus for my opponent to worry about. So, you know, I have to set traps on my defense, I have to kind of turtle up to compensate for that, and I just don't know if that's the case today. So, anyway, let's not talk about room 2 anymore. I keep upsetting myself. Moving on. Now, room 4. I knew this would work in theory. I was a little worried about it because of the counterattacks from Nova, and on the tooltips for these guys, it doesn't say that things can't be counterattacked. But anyway, the reason why this works so well is because, you know, this team here stops speed bar and speed stat and also prevents taunts. So, oh, and charge. So this guy here just kind of sits there. So this is, you know, if you have them on offense, Starjammers are basically done on defense. Like there were already a lot of counters, and now there's a very efficient, reliable counter in these guys. So they're not worth running on defense anymore, in my opinion. But they definitely have offensive uses and plug-and-play uses elsewhere. Like, you can also break them apart if you want to put Howard somewhere, or Havoc. So I expect you're going to very quickly see these guys evaporate from defense, but or at least as one team. But I think you're still going to see bits of them on offense and defense. What was I doing? So yeah, so Champion and Starjammer allies gain 100% counterattack chance, but you'll see here, so for example, Spider-Man, where is he? Oh, this one cannot be counterattacked. Okay, so I just misread this one. So this one's fine. Boop, 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 boop. Does good damage, also puts defense down. But yeah, see, the Raider proc there just obliterated him. Damn, that was just... that's so much damage. Wait, that's not even a Raider proc. Why did he take, like, seemingly 2 instances of damage? That was bizarre. Am I missing something here? Hang on a sec. That looked a little funky. Attack primary, yes. Chain, do damage, and slow. They can't be slowed. Yeah, I don't understand why he took like a separate instance of damage after the fact. Is there some global rule weirdness? Anyway, I'm just gonna move on. But if anyone knows what happened here, you know, let me know. This is also the other thing I forgot to mention. In this room, Safeguard goes away, which is bad for me and good for them because, you know, Hulk just lost all his buffs. So the fact that this works in the worst room possible for them is great. I guess if this was the assist room, this would also kind of suck potentially, but also if you're putting Starjammers in that room, there's so many better choices that I don't see why you would do that. Also, this thing seems to be stuck. Anyway, Julia just did her ultimate again. Not again, but did her ultimate. Actually, interesting. I guess, because I haven't used this team too much, she didn't chain around. I'm guessing... oh, counterattack breaks this chain. Okay. Yeah, so she stunned Lalandra, moved to Howard, Howard counterattacked it, and it stopped it. So that makes sense. The fact that the Amazing Avengers have 2 stuns off rip is really good. And actually, what was my alternative? Attack all enemies, flip one random, trauma and blind. I guess I could have done this and it would have trauma blinded everyone with disrupt defense down, but because I was unfamiliar with this attack, I just played it safe. But honestly, I think you can just blast because they're super stat checked. So like Rachel does her ultimate now. Boop. All dead. And then we do this. This could have ended here, but Groot rezzed once. Did his silly attack. Like, he lost his safeguard though because of the room roll. Did one more attack here. Decided to res again. Looped around to ultimate from Spider-Man, and he's finally dead. So yeah, Amazing Avengers, you know, a team that stops speed bar and speed stat will undoubtedly find value. The most interesting, not most interesting about them, but something that is interesting about them is that I don't really know who you drop here. It's probably Rachel, unfortunately, because Spider-Man is the fastest person on the team and he does cool stuff. He also gives them on-spawn things. Julia assists, has a stun, prevents the speed bar. Blade is Blade, he stops the speed stat and he's there sustain and the res. No, maybe you don't need a pre-taunt sometimes, but Hulk is here for that. So yeah, Rachel doesn't really bring too much to her team outside of raids, because she gives them crit chance, which is fine. and offense up, but you know, if you need to plug something in, you're probably dropping her, which kind of sucks. But also it's good that, you know, the OGs get value. So anyway, I think they're an interesting team. Blade is still, wow, now this thing is catching up. Interesting, but it is beta, so it makes sense. Yeah, I think these will find these guys will be a staple on Crucible defense. Mostly because they will replace Starjammers or immortal weapons for people that like doing that. I think they're interesting, and we'll see how they evolve with any plugins. Moving on to stage 5. So this this worked a little better than I expected, but it was also, again, I used Professor X in another room, so my standard counters go away. So I think this might be the first time I've tried Thunderstrike and Blastar against a Phoenix Force comp, but the whole idea here was I need to survive Damon Ultimate, and he's maxed out. Then eat a Magneto Ultimate, and then I get to go. So a lot of my what the hell do I do here was thinking, who's my 5th? Because, and let's just load in and talk about this. Damon's ultimate can be dodged. So Gwen and Jeff, perfectly safe, because they're not going to take any damage. These two, they need to just eat it and survive. Even if there's a crit here, because the only damage modification on Damon here is the crit chance from Heartless, so he's basically guaranteed to crit, and crit hard, so they just need to eat that. But then anything that I put next to Gwen here to eat the Magneto Ultimate after the fact would die. Even a 5-diamond Fortifier Odin would die to the bleeds. So spent some time thinking about it. It's also funny because I also made a mistake here, but it didn't matter. I figured Black Cat, she's gonna survive no matter what, because she has 9 death proofs. She will die to Magneto, but that's fine. But she can also give Blastar just a quick early assist, and we can decay some of the stuff on Omega Red. So Damon goes. Ouchies. Also, the Retaliate here is cool because having a slow on this guy means he's not going to loop around to his turn very fast. But you can see, like, this is pretty painful. Then I do. So here's our mistake. This basic was meant to be on Omega Red, but I'm so used to Omega Red being on the corner that I kind of autopiloted because I wanted to decay and also have the guaranteed skirmisher vulnerables. So I was like, oh no, I'm about to drop a silly attack. God, I said silly attack, and I'm thinking of Room 2 again. Anyway, so Magneto does his ultimate. At this point, Black Cat's always going to die. I wasn't sure if she would survive, but anyway, got a Time Warp on Jeff. Jeff gets to go. Good news is, since I did some damage to Magneto, he was already a little on the lower side, and he took a ton of damage, actually. Like, I was a little surprised at how much damage Jeff did here. But I guess, actually, you know what? Maybe it's because, when does the decay happen? Pull all enemies, reduce duration. Okay, they didn't have defense up, so I wondered if the damage came first and then the decay. But yeah, I'm just a little surprised at how much damage happened here. Like, I know Jeff can hit hard, but this felt harder than usual. I don't know, is something weird happen? Is everyone still taking 15% damage from the global rule from U32? I don't think so, I guess. I guess we can watch this guy's health in a second, see if it's more than expected. So anyway, at this point, I was debating, how much do I want to ignore Phoenix, because if I kill her now and she reses, her passive hit will probably kill these guys, and if I lose these guys, speed bar's on the table, it'll be a whole shit show. But I said, you know what, screw it, let's just special, kill everyone and hope for the best, because special will do good damage, it'll give barrier, and it also do 10% health to everyone. So we do this. Does a ton of great damage. He heals on his turn, so that makes sense. Now here's my other debate. Do I basic or do I special? I once again said, screw it. Let's hope the special plus Blastar Assist can kill him. Turns out it did. So we paused here, and that was it. Never got to find out if she would have died to the bleeds from Magneto because he hurts like hell. Maybe she would have been fine, but you know, this actually worked pretty well, so I'm pretty happy about it. So we can move on to the next room. And finally, stage 6. So Mephisto, Blue Marvel, Illuminati, Emma X. No, not Emma X. Room 2. Anyway. So yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a bunch of strikers, skirmisher combo because of Sentry, and just taking the speed up and abusing that to kill Blue Marvel before he gets to go. Maybe what else? Sorry, if I had a big Hobgoblin, I could have also tried just straight up Insidious Sinister Six with Sentry and just use Mephisto somewhere else. But I don't have a big Hobgoblin. I don't trust him to kill a Blue Marvel, so I just never want to try that unless I'm forced to. But anyway, also the on-spawn slow is also great here because there's not enough Illuminati members to make them slow immune, or at least the heroes. Anyway, we do this. So Blue Marvel is now chunked pretty hard, which is great. Now, because of the on-spawn speed up, I get to go ahead of Mephisto, which is kind of funny. I didn't expect that, but then, you know, thinking about it makes sense. We do, I just go all in on Blue Marvel, because he's the only real threat here, honestly. Boop. Then we do the ultimate, just to get off of Captain Britain here. Was a little worried because it didn't strip it off, but the assist definitely did. I think the ISO would have anyway, even if it didn't there. Then I do a Vulture Basic here, which I think he dies here because it's a striker combo. Yes, so the striker hit plus extra health damage, I think that happens, just kind of killed him through the death proof there. And then finally I get my Mephisto special, so I get to kill his Mephisto. I mean, it's, you know, clearly over. Sentry gets to go, and that's basically it. One more turn, yeah. So yeah, overall, this would have been a great round if I hadn't screwed up that sack in 2. I'm never gonna stop complaining about that. So, yeah, my opponent has not gone yet. Let's see how mad I'm gonna be, I guess, because anyway, let's not go there. I'll be internally very upset if that drop led to the loss, but again, at the end of the day, and I have to keep reminding myself, it's just a game, and mistakes are part of that, and it's fine. We'll get the points back later. Let's see what happened. Alright, well, looks like we're fine. I complained and moaned and whined for no reason. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, just thinking about it, my opponent had so much on defense that it makes sense that they dropped a bunch, but they also didn't clear a room. I do think they potentially had the tools to also only drop 2, but it would have been tricky for sure. So anyway, GG to G legit. Pretty fun defense, honestly. It's rare to see creative defenses these days, and what was on defense was definitely spicy, and I liked solving that outside of my own stupid mistake. But we got the win, so that's good for us. Let's see where we are in the season. So, okay, so should be hopefully some decent points. Should be in the top 5 hopefully soon, and then yeah, we just have to climb back up to, you know, this is our target right now, since Johnny's gonna be hard to beat with his 5-Diamond Nihilist, but yeah, plenty of room to grow, and let's see if we can get another 3-0 for the week. So see you in the next one.